Hello, hello, good people. This is your guy, Mr. Educator, Mr. Communicator, Mr. Free Thinker, coming back at you live once again from the Lone Star State with another edition of the Media Mike Speaks. All right, good people, it is 43 minutes past the hour, and yes, we are the voice of the everyday citizen. All right, good people, I started to not do this video, but a few of my subscribers asked me to do it because they were interested on what I had to say. So if you have not, spoiler alert, I'm not going to give everything away. But the movie The Black Phone, if you have not seen it, go see it. It is a good movie, a pretty good movie. I will have to say so, myself. So I think it was directed by the guy, I think his name is Derrickson, if I'm not mistaken. And it's set in small town Colorado in the late 1970s. And the story centers around a 13-year-old kid, middle school kid named Finney, played by Mason Thames, an ace baseball pitcher burdened by a dead mother, school bullies, and an abusive alcoholic father, played by Jeremy Davis. Now the thing is that the reason I want to talk about this is because even though people have asked me that was based on a true story, I looked it up. They say not, they say no, but we know these things happen, and they have happened, even as far back as the 1970s, and that's what I'm going to talk about. So he's the sixth kid, Finney, played by Mason Thames, to be abducted. I get that right, by a serial killer named they call him the Grabber, played by Ethan Hawke, which I didn't realize because I didn't see the rolling credits at first when I watched the movie, and when the mask came off at the end, I was like, oh, okay, yeah. And he kidnaps the children, and he, they're never seen again, of course, and he's locked away in a soundproof basement. Now, Finney does everything he can to find his way back to his little sister, Gwen, played by Madeline McGraw, who did a very good job. Now, the young lady has these psychic visions, I would say. She does, and she has these dreams. I would say this, and about the Grabber, and somewhat like her mother had. So it could be some some ESP type stuff going on here. Not saying it doesn't exist, but what I wanted to talk about was the fact that, bear in mind that this is Colorado, supposedly set in the late 1970s. Colorado, not a lot of race mixing at that time. They may have had an African American family in there, a kid. I'm not sure. But here's the thing. What I was somewhat disappointed about. No, not saying the movie wasn't good. It's a very good movie. But as a former police officer, I'm saying here is that what disappointed me was that we had two detectives who interviewed the little girl, Finney's sister. Okay, and they discussed black balloons in a black van. Now the black van is seen around the neighborhood, with abracadabra on it. That's why I call the guy Mr. Abracadabra. The Grabber, Mr. Abracadabra. Now you mean to tell me throughout the whole time no one sees this black van? Abracadabra. And the reason why this is concerning to me regarding that, if you want to say art imitates life, things like this do happen, because it reminds me of when I was in junior high school. A lot of young boys, African American boys and girls, went missing in Atlanta back in 1980. Now they supposedly, allegedly caught the guy. I think his name was Wayne something, supposedly, but the murder still continued after he was convicted. Now we don't know if that was copycat or not. I don't know. But what got me was that no one saw anything hardly. Well, except when they got him on the bridge, they heard a splash, and then his car was coming across the bridge. But before that, no one saw anything. These are African American kids in African American communities, and no one saw anything. And that's what struck me about this movie, because you're dealing with a predominantly Caucasian neighborhood. you got Mr. Abacadabra riding around in the van, and no one saw anything. No one saw anything, even though the young lady has said she had visions of a black van, but nobody investigated anything. Now, he's the only one in the neighborhood that I know of. You seen the movie with a black van and got Abracadabra on the court. Okay, Mr. Abracadabra, he plays he's some type of magician. I guess that's how he tricks the children and to let their guard down. But like, so what do? You do parties. You ride around with a van with Abracadabra, and you don't do one birthday party. Now that reminded me of John Wayne Gacy, who did the same thing to get close to kids. And so it's like, and I'm just saying here, not trying to throw anything racial out here, but sometimes Caucasian people can be their own worst enemy, or just any race could be their own worst enemy. Because who are you looking for? Because if it's a stranger, people in the neighborhood are going to be able to pick out a stranger, a strange vehicle. That's how neighborhoods are, especially in suburban neighborhoods. It's a strange car. Hey, that car don't belong here. Whose car is that? But this guy lived in a neighborhood somewhere in the vicinity. And no one said anything. Most of the time, these cases, most of the time, not all, but it's somebody in the neighborhood. It's somebody who gets close to these kids that they trust. And that's how they get kidnapped. And that's what I guess got me about the movie was that, come on, man, come on now. This guy driving around in the van. You see the van. No patrol car ever patrols the streets, the community. Don't. It's a movie. It is a movie. I get it. I get it. It is a movie. But it's like, uh, if you talk about things that do happen from things that actual events, there's a lot of young ladies with African American females went missing in Washington D.C. Now there could be some runaways on that level too, but we're just saying here, when you say no one saw anything, this what gets me. Come on now, come on, because these things did happen back then. You can research this yourself, good people. And what's disturbing to me is that no one saw anything, so they say. Because most of the time, it's someone in their neighborhood. Because look, if you got, I'm just saying, I'm not trying to throw shade on the late Mr. Rogers, but you got Mr. Rogers here who has no children, lives by himself, and he likes to give the kids ice cream cones in the wintertime. I'm going to have to take a second look at Mr. Rogers with the side eye. I'm going to have to take a look at Mr. Rogers, who lives alone, never been married, no kids, with the bow tie on all the time. Not throwing shade at people who wear bow ties. So, especially by Assalamu alaikum brothers and sisters. So, I'm just saying. So, these are things, these are cues here. And what gets me sometimes, if you do it on art imitates life, people say, oh, he's just the sweetest person. I don't think he would do anything like that. See, this is what gets me. And this does happen a lot of times. Even when the so-called serial killer is caught, I just couldn't imagine. I know he played with the kids a lot. Okay. And he didn't think anything of it. Not saying all those people who live alone, never had children, do things like this. But sometimes has to stand out. Sometimes what gets me when these people get abducted, no one saw anything. And I guess people don't. But in this case, you're dealing with a neighborhood and children going missing, and there are sightings of a black van. But no one says anything. No one. The police don't even check. Okay, another part here in the movie. Now I'm not going to go into the phone ring and all of that and all the kids and that. You got to go watch it yourself. Go see the movie yourself. But what gets me is that when detectives do come to the house, then they're in the neighborhood, and Mr. Abacadabra, the grabber, brother answers the door. Now he has all these things. Now he's getting into this. He's from somewhere else, some other part of Colorado. He came up from staying with the brother. We don't get it at first, and people are mistaking him for the grabber, Mr. Abracadabra, but he's not. And he says, "Look, all these kids here have been." No, he's figuring it out. To me, he's doing a damn better job than the detectives playing in the movie, which is kind of pathetic. And this is usually what you have sometimes. And what did they do? They dismiss him. Why? Because he was, yeah, he was a little bit ha 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 ha. So, but still, no red flag went up. No one said we may want to keep an eye on him. Let's keep an eye on this house. Let's see. Nope. Now, bear in mind that it is 1970, 78, 79. So, police work was really going through once again the reform era. They just wasn't really the brightest in the bunch. You got to look at the time period now. So, they guess when the detective cap just went. That didn't come to the end. They kind of got it, relying on a little girl. But still, though, come on now. Come on. Where's your brother? He's not here. No one went any further questions about the brother. Not saying that in real life that may have happened, but these things have happened with child abductions back in the day, and they went unsolved. And they may have caught the guy maybe 30 years later. But then you notice when they say they catch about 30 years later, they don't say he was a drifter walking through the town or something. No, he was lived right there. It was so and so said it was her cousin who was visiting for the summer. Really? But hey, this is the things I'm talking about. That's what kind of got me about. Come on now. Come on. The guy's right there in the neighborhood. Black van coming around. He jumping out in all kind of capes and masks, talking about balloons and abracadabra and playing little games. This is okay. Really? Because I'd have been like, okay, dude, what you riding around with this van for? I'd have pulled him over. Like, okay, what, you going to a party? We just had suspicious, of a black van in the neighborhood. But no, they couldn't have done that because that would have made it more sense. That would have made more sense, like real police work. But I'm just saying, on this movie, that's what just kind of disappointed me. But the movie it's very good. It's very good. Ethan Hawke, phenomenal actor from Training Day, and other movies he's played in. Very, very, very good actor. He did a darn good job here. I don't know about wearing this mask stuff. I don't know if that's Illuminati stuff or not. I don't know, but maybe he didn't like his face or something. But good movie, very good. It's just that these things have been known to happen to children being abducted. And when you have those type of numbers in that neighborhood, it's somebody in the neighborhood. There's no stranger coming through there and just snatching kids and driving off right by the scene anything. Now the other part what kind of got me, well, it was suspenseful. It was a movie when Finney almost got away. He almost got away, and somehow he couldn't run fast enough. And the Mr. Abracadabra got in the van, chased him down. Porch lights came on. He yelled. Porch lights came on, and then went back out. Bear in mind that's 1979. I guess people didn't really think to. If you got up and you turned on a porch light, the second thing people did was look out a window. But it is a movie. The second thing people did was look out a window. And if you see a van in your yard, they opened the door. Well, 1979, I don't know. I'm just saying. But anyway, yeah. It's just that that's the only part about it. It was so many moments where you said, come on now. But then again, there have been cases where, yeah, people, they didn't do anything to help people. So, and maybe it's one of those times in real time, real life. So, like the woman that was stabbed for so many blocks in New York back in the day, and no one helped her, and the citizens didn't do anything. So, but that's a big city though. That's New York City, not discrediting New York City. I should live in New York. I lived there for 2 years. I'm just saying. But this is Colorado. This is a suburban neighborhood. That's the part. Those are the things that I just said. Come on now, we got to come on, come on. But all in all, it was a good movie. I did enjoy it. Very suspenseful. I think everyone in this movie did a good job. Did a very good job. But be careful out there, good people, with your children. We're in the technological age today, but this is back in 1970, 79, late 70s. So maybe people weren't as vigilant. I don't know, because we were outdoors a lot. But I'm just saying, this was in the neighborhood. This wasn't where the kid drove, you rode your bicycle way across town. Well, yeah, some stranger could probably grab you then. Yeah, it most like, just saying, had more of a chance. You're not in your neighborhood, but this is in the neighborhood. So it kind of reminded me of it, with and the story of John Wayne Gacy, all rolled into one here with this. All in all, a very good movie. I'll probably be doing more of these. So if you get a chance, go check it out. Go check it out. But anyway, that's all I have to say on this. So until next time, this is your guy, Mr. Educator, Mr. Communicator, Mr. Free Thinker. Subscribe, share, and like to keep me rocking on the mic. Have a good night.
Understand you soon, it won't be long. Keep on, keep running.